A new Lord of the Rings movie comes out today, and I'm so excited. You can watch The Hobbit, The Battle of Five Armies in theaters at midnight, but prepare to fend off cosplay nerds who look like they got fired from a Renaissance fair. Huzzah! And if that weren't exciting enough, in 2 weeks, the US government will raise Social Security benefits by 1.7%. That's like 2 whole pennies per dollar. You know what's a lot like Social Security? The Lord of the Rings. It's bad news. For most people under 30, Social Security is about as interesting as the plot of From Justin to Kelly. If you don't know a lot about Social Security, you're not alone. Look at these Harvard students try to talk about it.
How much would you say that you know about Social Security?
Nothing.
I'd say it's pretty low.
Not much.
Do you have a job? Do you work at all? Have you ever worked before?
I have, yeah.
Okay, cool. How much of your paycheck, percentage-wise, do you think went towards Social Security?
I just heard about this online. I think it's like a third.
It's 10% or something. I don't know.
I have no idea, actually.
6.2% of your paycheck goes to Social Security.
Okay.
So that's pretty close to 10%. There's also a Social Security trust fund. Have you heard of that?
I have not.
Okay, so there's a trust fund that also helps finance people who are retired. By the time we're 45, do you think that fund will have grown or shrunk?
Shrunk?
By how much would you guess? Like 10%, 15%?
15, 20%.
Shrunk. By what percentage do you think it'll have shrunk?
Oh, I don't know. Something shocking. 75%.
To be honest, I think it might not grow. Possibly 10%.
Well, you were right about the shrinking, but it's not 10%. Do you want another guess?
Please don't tell me like 75%.
100%.
Oh. I never followed anything about Social Security before, but now that I am hearing about these things, I'm just like really worried about my future.
What did I tell you? To understand Social Security, just think about the Lord of the Rings. And to answer your question, no, this analogy isn't going to work with Harry Potter. We tried. Lord of the Rings revolves around an epic battle for the world called Middle-earth. You've got one bad guy named Sauron. He's obsessed with power and has an army twice the size of a Taylor Swift concert. That's the government. Sauron offers these rings to men, dwarves, and elves, promising that if you pledge allegiance now, Sauron won't decapitate you later when he achieves world domination. These rings are just like Social Security. Like Sauron, the government promises that if you give part of your paycheck to it every other week, it'll return the favor by paying you money when you're old and don't want to work anymore. Of course, Sauron's plan screws innocent hobbits along the way. Hobbits like Samwise Gamgee. Frodo gets to be the special one. Sam's just along for the ride. But guess what? Sam ends up having to carry Frodo's sorry ass up the mountain himself. Frodo gets to destroy evil forever. And you know what Sam gets? He gets a long walk back to the Shire. Screw you, senior citizens. We cut you out of a giant spider web. You and I are Sam. Social Security is rough on us, mainly because old people aren't retiring or dying fast enough. They live longer than the elves, but without the acrobatics and high cheekbones. To be fair, it's not so easy on old folks either. They're old enough to retire, but they can't afford to live on Social Security. They're like Gandalf the Grey. He tried to retire in the first movie, but then they brought him back as Gandalf the White. And after he finished the first trilogy, they signed him up for 3 more movies. There are too many retirees on Social Security, mostly anyone over 65, and not enough people paying it forward. This isn't sustainable. The latest report from the Congressional Budget Office, they're the government's accountants, says that by 2024, the government will be $209 billion short if it keeps Social Security the way it is. To get that kind of money, you'd have to make 240 Lord of the Ring movies, or just 2.5 Bill Gates. For the record, this analogy isn't perfect. Sauron keeps his power, but our government gives the money it collects to old people like your grandma. And no, I'm not saying that your grandma looks like Sauron. Some policymakers believe they can fix the system by investing your money so it grows over time, while other officials say we should tax rich people more. Every option has drawbacks. One does not simply walk into Mordor, and one does not simply fix Social Security. So the next time you hear a fancy politician propose a fix to Social Security, just think about Lord of the Rings. Listen closely, because your voice in this debate is precious. That's our show this week. Thanks for watching. Tune in next week for more bad news, and until then, here's something good. Yeah. I'm right. I'm sorry.